Hi, and welcome to Geeks on Screens with Coffee. It is...
It's 6:15.
Oh, perfect. And it's the 8th of December, and welcome, Steph.
Hey, Mark.
You can't see it, but there's some really good graphics going on in the background. What are you drinking? Because it's Geeks on Screens with...
I have tea. I don't drink coffee.
And have you really got it? No, have you really got anything in there, or is it just a prop? So you can just go...
I do have something in here, yeah. It's
have...
cold because it's been here for a while.
Yeah. Well, we have a pre-chat, and so sometimes it's unfortunately, the coffee goes cold by the time we start talking. But a few times I've had a cup and I've gone, yeah, look, here it is, and it's empty. To wreck. I can just see your cat's tail behind your head. She's disappeared. Oh, this. So what's her name?
That's Bella.
And you've got another one.
Oreo, yeah.
Right, sorry, I've got to start properly. Sorry, there we go. Yeah, sorry. There we go. Da-bum-bum. You'll do that for every recording. And there we go.
Nice. I like that.
I mean, you've seen all the episodes. I mean, so you know how this works, don't you?
Yeah.
So I was saying to you before, because I've known you for a little while, that I wasn't sure how far I'm going to push the conversation, because being very familiar with someone, you'll say stuff that you might not mean to. That it's fine. That's fine. How dare you? How dare you suggest I would say anything inappropriate in Rome? Was it Rome?
Probably, yeah.
To an intern.
Oh, yes. Yes, you did, didn't you? Yeah.
No, I didn't.
That.
No, I didn't. How dare you?
Bless her, she took it in the spirit that it was intended.
How dare you say that? If I'm allowed to wear any underwear I choose, and to say that I can't wear certain types of underwear is discrimination. Yeah.
I guess as long as you don't wear it on the outside and you're going to visit a customer.
Yes, yeah. Car visiting customers. How's it been? How's your pandemic been?
Pretty normal, to be honest. Yeah, I'm an antisocial creature. I don't go out. I haven't been out since March. In fact, I haven't been out since March last year.
But you work from home, so
I work from home anyway. Yeah. So it hasn't really changed for me. I think the only thing is that obviously John's always done a lot of travelling. He's been away 5 or 6 months of the year, and this year he's been at home 24/7, not even going into the office. So he's been here the whole time. I'm really glad we have separate offices.
Well, when you're with someone, and I guess you get married to someone, you've been with them for a while, you get used to that pattern, that lifestyle, and this is how it is. And then when stuff changes, well, I guess he was going to be back more often because he moved jobs. No. This is so wrong, right? You're married to John Martin. That's it, right? We won't even mention him again, right? Because I'm talking to you, and you in your own right, and not in relation to your husband, who is married to you, not the other way around.
Yes.
So because he is around more, he was going to be around more anyway, but now he's around a lot.
A lot. Yeah. It's been okay, actually. I thought I'd struggle. I thought we'd, we've never been under the same roof as much as what we have this year, because one or both of us has always been travelling, and we've had times where we've crossed at Fleet Services and had a romantic dinner on the motorway service station as I'm coming back from somewhere and he's on his way out to somewhere. They put candles on the tables and Pizza Express. That's as romantic as it gets.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I'm just thinking of Fleet Services. That's one. Is that the one with the bridge?
The one that burnt down, yeah.
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 Is that before or after they decided not to put candles on the tables? Hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's the same thing for other people as well.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I did mention to my wife that I could, if I changed jobs, I'd be around the house a bit more. And the shocked look on her face was, you know, it's just like, well, maybe I could start. I could work. I'm still going to work away a lot. Yeah, yeah. Well, you get used to your pattern, your lifestyles. So
Yeah.
and you're mostly on the phone or on Teams calls all
Yeah.
day
All day.
with
Yeah.
customers.
Yeah.
Customers. We love them.
We do love them. Yeah. It would be a very dull job without them, but a lot simpler at times.
Well, there's the two things that I hate: people and technology. And if I could get rid of one or both of those, I'd be a much happier person.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite fit into my job, though, unfortunately.
I know. And that was the thing when John was away all the time. People would call me, like my parents would call me or his parents would call me because, well, we thought you might be lonely. But I'm not lonely. I'm enjoying the peace and quiet. I'm getting off the phone. I spend all day, every day talking to people. You know, the weekends I just want to go and potter in the garden on my own and, you know, shut the world out, which I've still done this year, which is nice. I had a little bit of a crisis at the start of lockdown, you know, with the garden centres being closed and DIY shops being closed, which is my idea of a good day out.
The only thing about now in winter is there's less time at the weekends to be out, unless you've got a nice shed or a nice outbuilding with some lights. But even then, it's a bit nippy.
Yeah, it's cold. Yeah, we've got the summer house and I've set that up as, you know, I'm going to paint all of our garden ornaments. And I went out on Sunday and I took the radio out with me and I lasted 10 minutes and just said, it's miserable out here, I'm going in. I'm going to go do something in the kitchen instead.
I've been taking the shed apart and I looked out on Sunday morning and went, I'll wait for some of the frost to go. It's all right when you're moving around, but when you're stopping and stuff, and you realise my coffee's gone very cold. It's in a flask. That's not right. Your house is relatively new. You haven't been in very long.
June last year. Yeah, we moved in June last year and it was a new build. So
and this is one of the offices.
This is one of the offices, yeah. And
then what's the other one like? Is John's next door then?
No, it's downstairs. So I'm upstairs. This is the small bedroom converted to an office, and he's got what was the study according to the plans. So I'm at the back of the house upstairs. He's at the front of the house downstairs, and I can still hear his mechanical keyboard.
Do you sometimes like just bump into each other in the kitchen when you're going to get a coffee?
We try to make an effort to have lunch together and dinner together, but we both do a lot of stuff in the evenings as well. We're both studying, we're both doing tech reviews, books. He's obviously busy with work, so we try to have meals together. Some days that's all we see of each other is 15 minutes for lunch, and if we're lucky 30 minutes for dinner, just because it takes a bit longer to cook.
You don't book out. I book out an hour for lunch. Not that it gets honoured by anybody, because I put that blocker in my calendar to make sure that I try and have something in. But
I've changed mine to out of office now instead of busy, and people still book over it.
Yes, I do.
I just have started declining meetings. It's like, sorry, I'm out of office.
Yeah, yes, it's and I guess have you got customers all around Europe?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really it's only a kind of an hour, their lunch hour, then your lunch hour, and then so really there's just like 2 hours where you don't overlap. and that's not too much of a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got 3 hours because some of the time zones are 2 hours out.
Are they? Okay, yeah.
Because we do Central Europe as well. So, and South Africa, which is 2 hours.
2 hours, yes. 2 hours early though. Yes, I've got a customer in South Africa. It's their 9 o'clock morning meeting, which is our 7 o'clock morning meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did get that moved to 8 o'clock. Though we had it at 8 o'clock and then the clocks went back and then it went back to 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't fun. But I don't have to go very far to go to the office. That is the only advantage.
Yeah, and I think you're quite lucky actually being in the UK because most of my customers are in time zones ahead. So I don't get too many 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock meetings because they've all finished for the day. So yes, 8 o'clock sometimes, but generally not past 5.
Yeah, and your
Apart
team
from when I'm
your
talking
team
to
is European based, so your meetings are.
Yeah.
So I can see that cat just rubbing up against her chair.
Do you want to come and say hello? She's not normally this active. Come and say hello. Say hello to the lovely people on Facebook.
No,
She's
not
not
that.
timid, this one. She's she's scared of her own shadow. She's very skittish. She only really likes me. She doesn't like anybody else.
Oh, that's very cute. Very fluffy. Is she a rescue?
Yeah. They were rescued together, Bella and Oreo. We've had them 2.5 years. 2.5 years. And they came together as a pair. They were best friends, had to be rehomed together. So yeah, and we wanted to because we were both away a lot and they'd be company for each other. And they hate each other. So that's worked out well.
What? They just spend time in different rooms.
Yeah. And fortunately, Oreo is very much John's cat, and so she spends all of her time meowing to either come in or out of his window or in and out of his office door. And Bella sleeps on her comfy chair in my office. So.
And then when you're away, do they keep each other company or do they just go?
No, I think they just ignore each other.
They've got their own territories and their own little packs. Packs, not packs. Cats don't have packs. What do cats have? What's a collection of cats? It's not a bag of cats, is it? That's wrong, isn't it? That is very wrong. What are cats?
I should know that. Collective noun for cats.
Yeah.
Of trouble.
It'd be a pride of lions, wouldn't it?
Mm.
Trouble of cats, that would work. Hey. Oh, come on. I'm waiting for someone to
the internet's lit up with people shouting at us.
Yeah, it's the internet must be broken at the moment because no one's posting anything in there. Normally somebody does. There are some people watching, live. Not everyone watches live. There's my mum watching live on Facebook because she always does, and that'll be her. A few on YouTube, no one on Twitch, and I can't see who's watching on Periscope. So that's a bit. So it is the free version. So what have you been up to? Oh, sorry, you've got a standing desk.
I do have a standing desk. I'm sat at the moment, but I do have a standing desk.
I don't like. I have standing desk envy. It seems such a extravagance for a desk, but I don't know whether I would end up using it. So it'd be like I could get one, and then I'd have it stuck in the same position.
Mm-hmm. I do use it from time to time. If I'm doing something that requires a lot of thinking, I'll use the standing desk because then I'll go for a wander. And because I've got my headset is Bluetooth, so I just walk around the whole of the upstairs of the house talking to people, which is fine until they try to screen share. And I'm like, wait, hold a minute, I've got to get back to my desk.
I have had chats with people and they'll have their headset on and they'll be wandering around like you do. And then I'll just call them out on it. I go, "Are you walking away again?" Because they've got the video on and I can see them. Or someone who was a few months ago, I could see they were sitting up, and they weren't in the normal position, normal place they would be. And I thought, that looks like a headboard behind them. They're still in bed. So then I put it into the chat, not a private chat, but the chat for the conversation with the customer, going, "Are you still in bed?" To which he then went, "Yeah, no, yeah, my girlfriend, she's in the main room and I'm now in here just because I'm on a call." It was just, yes, it's slightly mean of me to bring it up. But I thought, I've got to say something. Can't just ignore that. Can you? Can you?
No, I think it's fine, and most of our customers are pretty good. I had one where one member of the account team, we think, fell asleep during the call because we could definitely hear snoring, and the customer was on video, and they were looking at each other and sniggering, and I just said, "It's not me," because like I was the one holding the conversation, and they just started laughing and thought, "My God, do you think he's fallen asleep?"
Did you not just
call? Will he notice?
Did you not just mute him? Because you can mute other people, and then just, "Oh no, definitely that person. I muted them."
We did in the end, but it took us a while to sort of like, "Am I imagining this?" And I could see them smirking. It's like, "I'm not imagining it, am I? There is someone snoring, isn't there?"
That is one of the values of having the video on, is that you can actually see people.
Yeah.
And actually, you could, because if it was just audio, you'd be going, "What's that? No, that must be just me." Something, yeah, someone's got the dishwasher or the the tumble dryer on or something. Yes, I don't think I've had that. Someone in bed, and I think there was someone else that said that one of their colleagues had left the camera on and they hadn't realised, and they were they didn't realise, and so they were doing something, eating or something, and they didn't realise people were watching them. You do forget. I have had it where I've realised that I haven't left the call. You know, when the call finishes, if you haven't hit leave, and then I realise that I've been on the call for a while on my own.
Yeah. And then people assume that you left halfway through and just weren't listening.
Yeah, that would never happen. I'm always paying attention. Always. I never get distracted. Although if you could, when you leave a call, you can actually go onto what is it? Effectively put the call on hold and then jump onto another call if something happens. I've done that before and then gone back to the original and then left. Oh, yes. Oh dear. I meant to drop off that call. Otherwise, people are just going to think I wasn't paying attention. No. So, how have you been? Do you know what? I was looking up to see if you've done any more presenting. Actually, do you know what I'm going to ask? How's my user group doing?
It's doing good.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're still going. We didn't have a meeting in December, so our last one was November. We might do one in January, but we're looking for some fresh ideas, to be honest, because what we've discovered is that I think people are a bit jaded this year. There's a lot of speakers that are saying, "I don't want to do any more than I'm already committed to. I'm getting burnt out." You know, as I think especially with some of the bigger events where they're doing pre-recorded ones and they're finding that quite stressful. So yeah, and we've noticed quite a turnaround in the people that we get at the user group as well. So there's a few of the what I've called the old guard left, the ones that used to come every month. But some of those have dropped off, and I think some of them came for the social side, you know, to network and to meet. They're not necessarily that interested in the topics that month, or, you know, maybe they're only interested in one of them and not the other. So they sort of dropped off because for them it was the social bit they were interested in, and they're not getting that same thing over a virtual event. People just aren't comfortable talking unless it's face to face in a lot of cases, especially it's all right for people like you and me that do it for a living. But for those that are used to having an office where they see people and then, you know, they're not comfortable in front of the camera, it's harder. We've had a few new people join, but less and less interaction. You know, I feel sorry for the speakers because they're coming and they're doing it for free, and then they say any questions and they get greeted with silence. And you know, it's hard for them. So I think we're looking for some fresh ideas for next year, especially if we're going to stay virtual for a while. Because I think even with vaccines and relaxations and whatever, I think a lot of people will still want to err on the side of caution and stay virtual. So we have to look after that side of it too. So yeah. So if anybody has any bright ideas for how we can revamp ourselves, maybe you could come back.
Could come back.
Bring some life into us.
Come, you no, it's you leave it behind and kind of for it to then grow and adapt, and you know it. You know, the whole point is I wasn't going to be around, so you know you can run a virtual thing quite easily now. I mean, it doesn't take long to spin something up, but getting getting a group of people to come week after week doing the marketing, that was always kind of the hard bit, the bit that always, you know, and that's the bit I'm terrible at, you know. And you know, finding people you can work with and trust, that you know that will do those jobs and you don't end up doing it on your own, is also important. Which is one of the reasons for handing over to you, because I knew that you'd be organised and you'd get stuff done.
Yeah.
Yeah, you weren't in it for the fame and the glory.
No, definitely not.
It's, I mean, I guess in the future, whether it's going to be physical and virtual, it's because the technology, since, you know, when I started it, however many years ago, the technology really wasn't there to easily record sessions, to do. I remember having a virtual session and using like a 3G adapter to try and actually get the remote person to present, and you know that was about the best we could do.
And I remember you recording one on a camera.
Yeah.
And then put some sign. You were going to get it signed over the top.
Yeah. I could do. So my brother is a sign language interpreter, and I was thinking that would be quite nice to try and do. But unfortunately, it's actually, like everything, it's actually a lot of work for him to do.
Yeah.
And really, I'd have to pay him the going rate. And for a user group that doesn't really make any money, it's really not that useful. But that would have been really useful.
It would have been really, sort of groundbreaking at the time, because that was, I say groundbreaking, for a tech event, it was.
Yeah,
I was 10 years ago.
You know, just the thing. I mean, we had just had so many technical, like, bizarre issues that the screen was wobbling because it was a big screen and the stand wasn't that secure, so it kept coming in and out of focus.
Yeah,
and you know. The idea of recording the output from the screen digitally rather than recording the projecting was like really new. I think I managed to record something at like the same quality a VHS recorder has or something. Some of those recordings are still online. There's one from John.
Is there?
Let me have a look. Let's see if I can find it. I think there's one from John that has the most hits on the YouTube channel. And it's several thousand. It's like 1,000.
You'll have to send me the link for it, because when next time I can't sleep, I'll watch that. Given that he does rid me about the fact that I've got a history of falling asleep in his sessions.
Oh, I think it would certainly send you to sleep, unless you were like really upset by the quality of the video. As long as we were just listening. Terrible quality. So I'm just trying to go back in time on this other. Here we are. So when did he? John Martin doing Service Broker 8 years ago. It's got 907 views.
I remember that one. I remember that. Yeah.
That's probably one of the earlier ones. God, 8 years ago. There's another one. That's Kevin. Sorry, it's probably not the most flattering video of John that I've got. But yes.
You've got multiple videos of my husband. Should I be concerned?
So these are private ones for blackmail reasons only.
And we had no internet either at the church hall, did we? We couldn't do anything cloud sessions. We couldn't do anything in Azure. We couldn't do any remote sessions because we had no internet.
Yeah.
I don't know how we coped for so long.
Well, you just do, don't you? I think one of the early ones, the projector broke. So someone had to bring along a projector. We managed to get in contact with someone. They brought one from their work. Well, I think that added to the kind of the fun of it. It's just that we were just doing stuff, and now they're a bit. The last I came to your user group. My user group, but your user group. When John and Annette were presenting a few years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was kind of another kind of was that the science park?
That was at the science park, yeah.
Yeah, on a proper screen.
Yeah. But we didn't have to do anything there because, Spectrum paid for the room. They get it all set up for us. It's all laid out when we get there, and we just leave it as it is, and someone comes along and puts it back to whatever format they need it for the next day. When we're in the church hall, we'd have to get there early, put the chairs out, and then we'd have to vacuum at the end of it. And there was also, we got a nasty email from them complaining about the mess we'd left behind because there was glitter everywhere. And so I'm pretty certain we hadn't been doing anything with glitter.
No, there was, because there were other
there was a kids play group there, and
kids craft groups and stuff that were there. Yeah. No. If there's a bit of pepperoni on the floor, that would have been our fault. I forgot we had to hoover up. Oh yes. Yeah, I had to. Yeah, and sometimes people would just disappear. So even though it finished at 9, you still wouldn't be out till past 9:30.
Yeah. But it was nice when people did sort of stay around and help out and, take the rubbish out for us or whatever. It was nice, people did sort of chip in. It's not the same virtually.
No. I think that's what builds a community of people doing stuff together, feeling they've got some investment. If you're just turning along to a webinar, well, I might not turn up this week. I might, people, used to come to talk, and there'd be the same people. There was a core set of people. I'm trying to think. Was it going on Martin? There was a few people, and you'd see them at Sequel Bits because they would come along to all the events. And I think that world has changed now. You're right. But virtual events, you can go to one all across the world now. So you've got your choice. But the people, at least people that made that time, they physically had to leave work. They would come there, they'd get some food. Doing the same thing virtually, I'm not interested in that. I'll leave. Or I'll leave early, or I won't do something. Or, asking questions. Do you remember one week? I don't know whether we had a round circle. We put all the chairs in a circle.
I do remember that. That was in the days where you used to make us wear a sticky name badge as well.
I forgot about that. Yes. Yeah, that's pretty cruel, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It seemed like a good idea though that people had their name. Yeah, and every month we'd almost try something different. So, would this work this week?
Yeah.
And occasionally we would have like a massive pack with massive 30 people turn up for, I think, was it like Jen Stirrup? I think we had like a big crowd for, and someone like Simon Sabin. he brought in a big number of people. I can't remember. We had a few large numbers, and then it would go back down to 14
Yeah,
on a normal.
yeah.
But it was fun while it lasted for me. But it's still going on for you.
It is, yeah, but it's interesting actually with the whole community thing, because when I look back and I think, how many jobs I've done because of people I've met in the community. So when I started working with Rob down in Bristol, and then when I moved to Coeo, and then when I moved to Microsoft, that's all because of connections I've made in the community, that someone said, oh, we've got a job role, you might want to apply, send me a CV. And, all of that it's not going to happen virtually, because you're not making those same connections. You're just sitting on the end, like you say, if it's a webinar and you're not even speaking, you're just going to sit there, listen to something. Yeah, you might learn something, but you haven't got that connection to then go and take it to the next sort of stage. And I don't know, it would be good to get back to some kind of in-person events, just to bring that back, for the next, I know enough people now. I don't need to worry about networking for where my next job's going to come from, because I probably know enough people. But for those who are early in career or just joining the SQL world or whatever, it'll be a lot harder for them.
Yeah. All right. I mean, some of us haven't got all the connections we need. Got a woman. Actually, I do. I mean, John was the one who sent me a message to say, oh yeah, this is, do you fancy, we've got a contract coming up at Avis. Do you want to come and work there? Yeah, and it was, it worked well at the time. So I can see someone's saying hello. The problem is it's so small on that screen. Someone's saying hello. I'm just going to across to here. Oh, my eyes are so bad. Sorry, hello, Daniel. You have to acknowledge it's what all the young kids do when people put chat messages in the YouTubes. You have to call them out and high five and whatever young kids do. Where was I? Oh yes, yeah. John was the one who said, "Do you want to come to Avis?" And yeah, I've never worked with John before. That might be fun. And the bugger left before I started. Yeah, come here. It's really great. Yeah, no, it's fabulous. Yeah. Oh, I'm going. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'm working on that project that you were going to work on, and it's so good that you're leaving. Why? But yeah, without that.
But he came to work with me after that, so.
Oh yes, he did. Yes. Because that was a long time ago, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, I did have a running joke with a few other people, because then John went to. Is that when John went to Century One?
No, that was later, because that was after Microsoft. After he was at Microsoft.
Oh yeah, so John went to Microsoft, and then after John had left Microsoft, I went to Microsoft.
Yeah, and Jonathan joined, and I think because John had spoken to him, and then John left.
Oh really? I did have a joke with a few other people that I'm basically just following after John's jobs. So I just, I was talking to Richard saying, well, clearly I'm going to have to move to Century One now, or whatever the SQL Century at the time, just to keep it going. Otherwise, the whole scheme is broken down. Yes, so I guess that doesn't happen. You don't make those connections. You just, I mean, I guess that's one of the things for doing this was to kind of to do that and to have a bit of proper social interaction. Because if you had like 8 people talking, or a user group, there's not really a lot of space for everyone to talk and to interact. So that was one of the reasons for doing this, and I knew everyone was going to be at home, so there was no excuse.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a different time zone.
Yeah. Oh, I'm busy that night. Yeah, right. Yeah, you're busy hiding from germs like the rest of us. Yeah, shame those people into coming on. But yeah, a few other people have said that, you know, although these are long form chats, it's quite hard to kind of listen to these because you need to listen to the entire thing. You can't just jump in at different bits. I do it for me, not for anyone else.
Yeah.
And if anyone is paying attention, then that's nice. Or watching. Sorry, Rob's. Oh, I can't. Oh, I don't know. Rob's right. Rob's sending messages as he always does. He should not be named as sending messages. Sorry.
Would that be related to me going to work with him and him leaving?
No. No, I didn't know about that. What was that?
Yeah. So Rob messaged me and said, I need a data warehouse person. Do you know anyone that would be interested? And I said, well, I'm bored in my job. I can do that. It's a contract role. Yeah, why not? I can go contracting. You know, John had finished at Microsoft then, so he was at home, working from home. So it's like, right, now it's my turn to go out and, you know, be away. You know, it was Bristol, so it was an hour and a half each way. So I managed to get out of my notice period early, called Rob and said, good news, I can start earlier. And he went, fantastic. I've just handed my notice in. So we had a very brief handover after I joined him before he left. And yeah, it gets brought up from time to time.
Yeah. Oh, come here. It'd be really great. Oh, but I'm leaving. It's so good that I can't be here. Yeah. That doesn't work very well with me. Never mind. But yeah,
especially as I had to fill in for what he was doing. Yeah, I wasn't even just doing a different role. I was doing a different role, but then I was also having to do his role because until they found someone else.
Ouch. Sorry, Rob's just put a message to say he'll never be allowed to forget that.
No, he won't.
I forget there's like a it's not quite 2 minutes, but there's a bit of a delay from when we say things till it goes out on the YouTubes.
Right.
Sorry. Do you know what? What's your favourite cheese? Actually, before we get onto the cheese question, because you're probably expecting that, I'm going to be a bit mean. What's your favourite episode from season 1 of Geeks on Screen with Coffee?
I've got a terrible memory.
Oh. All right. So what's your favourite cheese then?
Well, I'm vegan, so we don't really do cheese. There are vegan cheeses. They're a bit mixed bag.
I've a supermarket beginning with T. I've bought a vegan halloumi from there.
Oh, nice.
It's not quite the same. I mean, it's all right in its own right. So I wouldn't say it's a good substitute for halloumi. So it's halloumi-like, but it's a not different sort of taste and not the right halloumi texture.
Yeah, I found a feta that was nice, but it was, when you heated it up, it behaved more like a mozzarella than a feta.
Yeah.
And like you say, it's nice in its own right, but it's not the description I'd have given it.
Yeah, it's like, it's that's just to sell it. It's a thing, a vegan thing that is cheese-like.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem. Different vegan cheeses, they have different like melting points and different kind of things about it. So there's some nice sort of vegan spread, but they're mostly based on kind of coconut. Is it coconut oil?
Yeah, and that kind of like you heat that up and it just disappears.
Yeah,
because it just turns to oil and just disappears.
I've not found one that I've actually liked. I did buy some vegan. I can't remember what. Oh, someone said there was some like really nice cheese, and I thought, and I found a vegan version of it, and it was, I mean, it just tasted of nothing. It was
Yeah.
just, I mean, I could have been eating cardboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of them are pretty awful.
I mean, I haven't been vegan anywhere near as long as you have. So what's your favourite dish? What's the favourite thing you make? Because I've got some standard things that I kind of do very often.
A chili with vegan mince. Supermarket own brand is fine. Lots of kidney beans, lots of different types of beans, lots and lots and lots and lots of spice. And yeah, and I could eat that every day. That's my favourite. I've got a freezer full of it at the moment because I made a big batch. I've got one of these massive jam saucepans, and I made a big batch of it. And yeah, that or curry. I mean, I like curry, and I make that from scratch as well.
I've recently been doing roasting or char grilling some peppers, then with maybe some tomato and some other things, and then having that like in wraps, like yeah, with some rice, like mini with other vegetables, mini fajitas, like quite fajitas, but they're kind of, is it more enchilada? I'm not, it's sort of that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah.
you can get some refried beans as well. Just need to be careful which ones were vegan. That I could probably eat. I've been doing hummus as well.
Not the Marmite one though, that's got milk in it. What's that about? How do you get milk anywhere near hummus? I was so disappointed.
Well, I bought it, got it home, and then no one at home ate it because they don't like
Marmite.
hummus. Well, they don't like hummus. They like Marmite. Oh, for goodness sake. So that's just wasted. People putting their favourite cheeses in. That's great. Oh, wait a minute, there was no cat question. No, it was a cat. Sorry, Rob. Sorry. Got distracted. Yes. But I tend to do very similar things and kind of make stuff in advance, and then I just go down and eat it, or just serve it up and then come back up to the office and carry on working. What did I do? What was I was doing something. Oh yeah. It's basically just shoving a load of vegetables just in a pot, mixing it up, letting it simmer down, and then just shoving that into wraps. Got into wraps. I don't know why. Just because it's instead of serving it in a bowl, so I can just shove it in my face with my hands. Is that a wrong thing? That's not really eating, is it? Sorry. So, can I ask, how do you feel about these fair weather vegans who just start to be vegan for a few days, because it's all popular now?
I must admit, this is the first time I've ever been trendy in my life. I'm ahead of the curve. I got in there before it became cool to be vegan, and all we lived on was mung beans.
But are you vegan? Are you plant-based? No, was it plant-based? And then isn't there another kind? Because there's,
I think, yeah, I think there is different people have different strength of feeling on it. So for example, for a spread, I would use Vitalite, because that's a vegan spread. The company that makes it makes non-vegan foods, so some vegans won't touch it.
oh yeah,
Because it's not vegan. And you have the same with like the big fast food restaurants that now start serving vegetarian or vegan options, and it's like, yeah, but your cruelty record towards the animals that you're serving is terrible. And I kind of think if we don't encourage them to provide those options, they're never going to change. So I kind of think, and if you want to be vegan or don't eat meat and dairy for 3-4 days a week, then that's better than eating meat 7 days a week, as far as I'm concerned. So, I think we should encourage people and not beat them up when they say, oh, actually, I had to have cheese because I was going I was going to go mad. I was having cravings for cheese. Okay, so yeah, so you had cheese. All right, tomorrow's another day. You know, I don't think it's fair sometimes. And some vegans have a reputation for being a little bit militant, and you know, I mean, John's a meat eater, so yeah, I can't be too pushy with it.
I mean, you can do. It makes your life hell if you wanted to.
I have tried. Told him he's having a plant-based January.
Plant-based. Yeah, but that goes down well. But there's nothing wrong with it. And most of the time, most of the food he eats isn't meat.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of it's just become so much easier now than it's ever been, you know.
Yeah.
Which is kind of just the only thing that I've changed is just no dairy, no milk, and no cheese. And the cheese wasn't really a hardship. The milk was for a bit, and then just having black coffee, that's just kind of normal. And then, you know, pretty much I wasn't eating much kind of dairy or animal product at all. Yeah, animal. It's the best term for it. Yeah, animal product.
Animal product, yeah.
I'm not like a level 5 vegan who goes out with a face mask on. Oh my god, I'm a level 5. I go out with a face mask on, so you don't accidentally eat flies. But you know, it's just food. It isn't meat. You know, I don't really consider it. Everyone else in the house eats meat, and I think for Christmas dinner, where you know the rest of them are having turkey. But you know, it's, you know, you can't make them eat vegan. Most of the time they're eating vegan food because we buy the vegan sausage rolls and stuff. And it's not that they care. Yeah, Rob has just put in cheese would be the thing for him. There are alternatives to cheese.
And they're better, a lot better now than they were when I first turned vegan. And I don't miss cheese, to be honest, anymore. And the vegan cheese, I buy it every now and again. I eat some of it and then I throw it away because it's mouldy, because it's been in the fridge for 4 months, you know. Cheese and chocolate, two things that can live in my fridge forever. And you know, and it has got a lot easier, but I don't miss it, so I don't sort of go out of my way to buy vegan cheese anymore. If I see a new brand, you know, especially if you're on like a vegan market or something like that, and you see it and you think, oh, I'll buy that to try it. But otherwise, I don't tend to bother. The only in the summer I buy vegan cheese slices for my veggie burgers because John likes doing barbecues in the summer, so a lot of burgers.
As long as you get the right vegan burgers, ones that. So have you been eating the what are they? There's 2 varieties on there. There's the Impossible, which you can now get, and
Beyond Meat's the other one.
Yes, and they're both pretty good, apart from they're very calorific.
Yeah, see, I don't like them.
Oh, okay.
I don't like the texture, and you know, and the whole thing about putting beetroot in them so that they're slightly pink on the inside. Like, I don't like beetroot. So it's like, if you left the beetroot out, maybe I would, but I don't know. I find, I find cheaper brands just as good.
The Tesco brand is just as good.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay £5 for 2 burgers. You can pay like a couple of quid for like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
That is in a pack. Yeah, and the Tesco chorizo vegan sausages are really good.
Yeah.
Too good, in fact.
This is the thing. People say to me, oh, you know, you're so healthy because you're vegan. And it's like, I might have been 10 years ago, I might have been. But the choices that we've got now, health seems to have taken it. But it's processed food, right? So, I mean, it's anything you eat that's processed is going to be less healthy than cooking it from scratch. And I do try to cook from scratch most of the time. But I'm not going to make my own burgers because I've done that and I've never had much success.
What, making your own burgers?
Yeah, like, you know, chickpea burgers or things like that. And they They never, and they don't barbecue well. They fall down the grass.
Yeah. That's it's. They've
Just
got to
need to
be
get
well
barbecue
bonded together to
flames.
begin with. Yeah, to begin with. Otherwise, you know, you'd never barbecue a. If you there's no such real thing as a vegan barbecue. But a vegan barbecue, you take a frying pan, because everything's gonna fall apart. It's just not designed to do that. I think these other meat burgers, they tend to stay together more and better. But previously, that spicy bean burger, I'll just flip it. Oh my god, it's just broken in two.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen. We've been chatting for quite a while now. Sorry, that's the problem. Is we start chatting and then it's kind of like, it's time to go. But not yet. Look at you. I'm ready to go. No. We'll stick around for a bit longer. All right. You might be please. It'd be great if you're the only person who knows. You know who Richard Herring is?
Yeah, I know who Richard Herring is.
Yeah.
It was Lee and Herring, wasn't it?
It was Stuart Lee, yeah.
Stuart Lee, yeah.
Yeah, Stuart Lee.
I've seen Richard Herring live at Cov Uni. That would have been in the late 90s.
God, would that be in Christ on a Bike, or would that be Lord of the Dance Settee?
Yeah, I can't remember. It was a long time ago, and I was probably drunk.
Probably the best way to enjoy it.
It might have been someone completely different.
Yeah, would have been. So there's two questions. One is who to nominate next, but first we'll do a question from the Richard Herring emergency question book. So there's 1001 questions in here. Each one's got a number, and you just pick a number between 1 and 1001. Ideally, I think below 1,000, or below like 900, because they get a bit weird above then. So between 1 and 900.
I'll go with 636.
Why 636?
That's the size of the engine in my motorbike.
Yeah, see, some people pick numbers because they mean stuff, and other people just randomly pick stuff. Okay. Right. If an older version of you came back from the future and gave you advice about what you should do with your life, would you take the advice or assume that you from the future was evil trying to screw you over? So
I think I would assume I was wrong.
What? So Steph from the darkest timeline, sorry, I've been watching Community, is there to wreck your future life rather than help you.
Yeah, just so I could tell myself I told you so.
Then when you got there. Yes. Okay. Now, because what would then happen is, depending which time version you believe in, if you had taken the advice, which was correct, so if the view from the future came from a dark timeline, and then you then took their advice to go on a good timeline, they wouldn't exist anymore to come back to tell you about it.
That sounds like one of those films that I watch and I sit there and I say to John, who's that? And I struggle with Terminator, to be honest, with the whole backwards and forwards in the future. And don't get me started on Back to the Future. The first one made sense. The other two, not a clue. So anything that's dark timelines coming from the future, my brain starts to go, la, la, la.
Sorry, Benny's just put a little thing in for the reference to Community. Sorry, I spent ages watching. It's a TV show, but they have. Imagine it's like a user group, and the kind of personalities you get in a user group, and how dysfunctional they are. It's like a mini version of that, or a mini version of work. But they have all sorts of clever adventures. But yeah, so Back to the Future 1, they get it. They between Back to the Future 1 and Back to the Future 2 and 3, they change the way that time travel works. So so I was talking to JP a couple of weeks ago, and he had seen Back to the Future 1 to 3 like the previous week, a few weeks ago. How does someone get to our age and only have just seen Back to the Future? Apart from that, which is clearly kind of no one gets to our age and not seeing Back to the Future. But when he goes back in time and he avoids kissing his mother, or does kiss his mother, which obviously is very wrong. When his mother is falling in love with him, his Polaroid of his family like disappears and starts as that timeline becomes less likely. And then when he plays Johnny Be Good and his mum and his dad kiss, then that timeline effectively firms up and the Polaroid comes back. So the idea is he's affecting his future. But in Back to the Future 2, Biff takes a time machine to go back in time to then change the future. Then when they go back to the future, it's then a different future because it's on a different timeline. Now, if it was all the same, if it doesn't fit in with the rules of the first Back to the Future. Sorry.
I think you've spent way too much time analysing how time travel works.
Sorry. As long as it's consistent within the movie, it's fine, isn't it?
You know it's only pretend, right?
You mean there aren't robots that have come from the future? You know the date that Marty goes to the future in Back to the Future, where Biff is running that area, the town. That was set in like 2018 or 2019 or something.
Oh right.
So we're ahead of Back to the Future.
Wow, that's frightening.
Where's my freaking hoverboard?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was lied to by Robert Zemeckis. I'm still angry. And on that note, who would you think would you like to nominate for good reasons or evil reasons for me to have a chat with? And we can or not mention Back to the Future.
Well, you've already had so many people.
Only 50. I think you are number 54 or 55. That's not that many people out of people you know.
No, probably not. No.
It doesn't have to be someone I know. It's so. What actually is interesting is when I was talking to Ben last week. So I've never talked to Ben, and I've never talked to kind of other people. And you can still sit down and have a really good conversation. And I've talked to Benny a few times, never talked to him before. So this kind of interaction sort of does work in a weird way. It's just, if I introduce myself to strangers, it feels a bit creepy.
Yeah.
As you know, I can be creepy.
We're back to where we started at the very beginning of this conversation.
Wait a minute. I wasn't being creepy. I was being inappropriate. No, I wasn't being inappropriate. I was messing with people's preconceptions. That's what it is. That's what I do. I think it's funny to take what people think and then subvert it. It amuses me, and if it amuses my little head, and as long as I'm one step ahead of HR, then it doesn't matter. You found that offensive? Well, clearly you're being discriminatory against me. I find the offence that you took offensive. Yeah. Does that not work? Can I do that? No.
Probably not.
You're doing that blank stare like, what is he talking about? I was with him. I was
Oh.
partly with him for the Back to the Future stuff, and now we've just gone completely. Actually, you don't have to answer now.
Okay.
Just think about it, because obviously, if you're going to lose a friend, you should lose a friend for a good reason.
Yeah.
And it was fun.
It has been lovely to talk to you again. We don't talk nearly enough.
No, I sometimes feel that when I do, I'm not particularly comfortable with the term pinging. When I ping people at work, I go, I'll just ping you, and I don't know. I'm not particularly down with that. Maybe that's just I'm too old. But
I think it's difficult as well because we're both working very busy jobs, and it's sort of, I'd love to chat with you, but right now I'm in the middle of.
Yeah. And I know you're on calls all day. So sometimes I'll have a gap of maybe 2 hours where I can read or do something. And it's just like, so I do sometimes just randomly reach out. But
Do you have no meeting Fridays?
Because
That.
no meeting Fridays. Let me just check I know that was supposed to exist, but I thought that was in a different timeline, not in the timeline that I live in. I've got my now 8 o'clock meeting with the team in South Africa, and kind of do people do the no meeting Friday?
I've been trying to. I've now booked it the whole day as out of office. People still put stuff in my calendar, and I will still put. I'll do internal meetings, because I think training, collaboration, that kind of thing's fine. Try and stay away from customer meetings, but the first couple of weeks, and we had the email out to say, how's everybody finding no meetings Friday? And it's sort of like, well, I'm averaging 5 hours of meetings a day on my no meeting day.
Yeah. So it's not taking the 7 hours or 8 hours a day that it might normally take. But yeah. I mean, my Fridays would begin at sometimes 7, sometimes 8, and then we used to have another meeting that would finish at 6 or 6:30 or something. Now that's moved, but Fridays were always long days. No meeting Fridays.
Yeah.
It's an aspirational goal, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. It's a lovely idea.
But if no one had meetings on Fridays, then would any work? Loads of work would get done, wouldn't it?
Yeah. My to-do list might get some things ticked off it. Things I've got to go and build or investigate or research or reply to or. Yeah. I've actually we should do this, and maybe this is a question you can ask your next guest. How they handle their to-do lists, because I've done Microsoft To Do, which I didn't like, Wunderlist, which I found was great, Post-it notes, a paper to-do list, a whiteboard, and I've got to-do lists all over my desk on different formats, and none of them work. And I still just look at it and go, I ain't got time to do that. What else have I got on the list I might have time to do?
I find paper is the most effective, bizarrely enough, or I'll sometimes do just a physical list in OneNote or Notepad++.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just bouncing around, and then I'll lose track and I'll forget something, and then someone will email me and go, "Have you done this yet?" Yes. No.
Oh, I also had I created a folder in my inbox called To Do, which all my important stuff that I hadn't got time to do now got put into. Today I went and deleted everything out of there because I figured if it was urgent, someone would have chased me.
I did try and set reminders, and then I just got annoyed with them. Kept having to remind. Kept coming up and reminding me and getting in the way. Really annoying. I put something into Teams for something outside work for an event, and it was supposed to be like a to-do like a Camnan board, so to use it as a list and then move it between the stages, but it's rubbish. And I think that they want you to pay for something that's useful.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spin up a DevOps environment so I can just do a Camnan board. No.
Yeah. Bit overkill.
Yeah. I might end up doing that. Or what's the other list thing? Not Listify. There was something. Trello. That's
Trello.
it. Yeah. Really easy to use, Trello.
Yeah.
Don't know why there isn't. Oh, that's what it is. It integrates into Slack really well, but not into Teams.
Mhm.
Oh. And on that note, yeah, Teams is really good. Just doesn't always integrate with everything as well as other products do. But Slack has been around for a bit longer, and clearly, I mean, I don't know how to do the integration, so maybe I'll use Slack. No, Teams. I'll use Teams. Teams would be better, wouldn't it? Teams. Yeah, Teams.
Teams would be better.
Teams. Yeah, Teams. I like Teams, and Teams for free. That's what I'm using.
Yes.
I'm just trying to work out what's missing from Teams for free, but that's a whole different discussion. And thank you very much for your time. It has been fun. It's been fun to meet your cat.
Yeah.
And we didn't even get to looking at the fluffy toys and what looks like a horse painting. Now, people can't see it on your bookshelf. Maybe we'll save that for another time. All right.
I have to come back and take you through the collection of toys that is on the bookshelf. I have got my Asher cats, so they're in there. My sequel cats are my Asher cats.
Oh, all right. I can't see them. Oh, are they the ones? Oh, they look like lions.
Lions, yeah.
I
picked them up from Summit some years ago.
Not everyone gets to go to Summit. I went one year and I got a big Azure Cat bag. It was so big you could fit children into it. It was almost as tall as I am. It's about must be about 5 foot big, 5 foot tall. Did you get one of those?
No, must have been a different year.
Right.
Perhaps that was the inappropriate year.
How dare you? How very much dare you? I went to Summit and all I got was a crappy bag. Couldn't use for anything. It's too big. Thank you, Steph. All right, better say goodbye now. Otherwise, we'll keep talking. All right, bye everyone. Thanks for watching.